T-A-R-R-E, Tower.
This is a picture of a house that you bought.
Yes, my wife and I purchased this in 1978. And we purchased it from Miss Lila McVeigh, who was in her late 70s at the time, and she had gone into that house as a babe in arms in the early part of the century.
What part of Fredericton or York County is this?
This is 217 George Street.
George Street, so
Yeah.
just downtown.
Yes.
And in the house, in the barn portion of the house, you found this advertisement.
Yes, and there was a lot of debris in the loft of the barn, and shortly after we purchased it I went up there and started to clean it out, and right in the middle of a large pile of debris was this. It didn't look quite as clean as this. The glass was still intact on the front, and on the back there was actually wood, which would, it looked like, it's not wood now, but it looked like old shingles. So with these two things, with the glass and the shingles, it seemed to have protected it very well. Because, I mean, this is paper and it looks in excellent condition.
It is in excellent condition. So what can you tell us about this advertisement in particular?
Well, Mr. Johnson was well known in central New Brunswick. He had a large agricultural implements business, and there's a lot of history to it, but he owned this house in the latter part of the 1800s. And the photographs that you see here, we looked at earlier of the house, that is Mr. Johnson leaning over the gate there, and that was circa 1990. And the reason that we have that is when we bought the house, Miss McVeigh mentioned a little bit of the history of Mr. Johnson, and she had an old photographic plate with this photograph on it. She lent it to us, and we were able to get a blown-out version of it. And then after that, she had donated the plate, the photographic plate, to the New Brunswick Archives.
So he was the owner, or
he was the owner, and this was a large business for its time. And I'm sure that you can find out a lot more about the history, because my wife had mentioned this particular piece to King's Landing, and they said, well, I'm sure it would be of interest to the York Sundry Museum, but we have a lot of artifacts of Johnson's company in King's Landing already, so why not take it to the York Sundry Museum?
Well, I really appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your donation.
You're very welcome.